All right, here we are back for hole number 5. And, I briefly touched on this on an earlier hole about, kind of the difference between pro and expert. Since we're on the same tee box, it does make this hole play harder because you can't, I can drive the green in expert. I did it earlier. And it's a much different shot to play this hole from the pro, because you'll see that it's much better. We're just going to stick to this island top here. You would need a very advanced bag. If you played pro with a Pox 7, we may be able to drive this green, but it would have to be a skip shot over the water from the second to third bounce. And we need a really good driver like a Pox 6, a Pox 7. Most guys aren't going to have that. So you're much better off going expert because you can actually drive this green. It makes the game, in my opinion, just a little bit more fun to play. So I really despise playing the pro tournaments. So I'm going to try to land up in here, which is going to be probably about 6 rings down. Maybe just a little bit of overpower, and other than that, I'll use the curl. And I'm using a Titan. The biggest reason for the Titan is to make sure that I don't have to overpower too much. It's going to lead to more consistent rollouts here. So I want to avoid, clipping the rough or anything of that nature. I'm just trying to focus on precision here and, avoiding something that would be a little bit more of a disaster. Now, what I typically do like to do is I like to play the backstop. I don't like to play this fairway. So if you can avoid it, I recommend doing so. It's very hard, especially landing on an angle. You can see that the fairway is sloped, kind of uphill. Anytime your ball lands on an angle, very tough to get consistent results time and time again. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but it's much harder. So what I'll typically do on this hole is a backdoor approach, because it's almost the only option. Sometimes I'll go for the dunk, but it's actually a tough dunk as well, because you're typically not close enough to min club. When I get it down to the edge of this fairway, that's when I typically dunk. So this should be close to, if here's max, maybe just 2.5-ish, two per ring or so. And you'll see that I'm going to bend it in from this side and hopefully down the hill. So you can see with what I'm doing with my spin, just trying to get it right up in here. And I'm thinking just fractionally more than 3 rings. So and I need to go just a little bit extra, mostly for wind effect. So that'll be the hardest part about this shot, is playing the wind after effect. So that looks pretty good, but just off. So that's just something that we can make minor tweaks on. But you can see how, you will be able to get that to drop. I used about half a bar of right spin. Typically I may go as much as 1, but in a side wind, I can kind of lower that, because you see that the ball just kind of naturally comes back right on its own. So you do want to set up your ball guide a little bit left, and you never want to try to come in from the other side of the hole. It makes it harder to get the ball to come back when you play wind effect. So you just want to kind of let the wind naturally take it, and then just try to bring it, kind of as straight but a little bit of right bend as possible is the best way to be able to make those. But you see a very good attempt there, and with a little bit of practice and couple repetitions, you guys should be able to get all over that. So good luck there, and I'll see you guys on the next one.